Kit, Tuesday night at Charlton, 2 points dropped or a point gained?
I think at this stage we've got to look at it as a point gained. It was a good performance. Slightly disappointed not to have got all three, but it was a hard fought, well-earned point in the end, and like I say, on the back of a good performance as well.
And a resilience shown with the game coming so quickly after the defeat against Brentford.
Yeah, I think it was. That was obviously a disappointing result on the day for everyone, and we had to bounce back, and then the players responded in real good fashion.
Having Scott Parker back must have been a bonus for you.
Yeah, it was. Obviously, Scotty being out of the team is a miss, but when that happens, we need to just get on with it, and we can't use that as an excuse. But it's always a big plus when he's available for us and able to play.
We're here in glorious sunshine at Craven Cottage, where you've trained today. This is one of the first times that you've trained at the cottage prior to a game. Can you tell me the thought process behind that?
Yeah, well, we don't normally do it, but it's getting towards obviously the end of the season now, only a couple of games to go at home. Pitch is in fantastic condition. The results haven't been as good as I'd like them to be at home, and we've played some good football, but not got the results we need. So, I'm very conscious of that, how important that is in front of the Craven Cottage faithful. So we thought we'd bring the boys down and just make them a little bit more comfortable with it, and hopefully get the right result now tomorrow.
Wigan come tomorrow, nothing but a good result for them will do. We know therefore what you're expecting. How much pressure is on them and therefore off the Fulham players?
Well, I think there's pressure on both sides, but they know they've got to win. So, sort of in some ways that might take the pressure off because they've got to just go for it, sort of thing. So, we'll need to be solid and resilient. We conceded, giving up too many goals at home recently for sure. So, something we need to be mindful of. We're going to start the game with a point already in the bag, so we need to make sure we maintain that at least, and hopefully get 2 extra ones to go with it.
I know if you could pinpoint why so many goals were conceded, then clearly you'd be doing something about it. But what is that kind of mentality of going a goal behind and then almost that sort of resilience and the confidence goes, and it looks as though the defence loses confidence in that way?
I mean, confidence is a huge thing at football. You talk about doing something about it. We've brought a lot of players in on loan, and a lot of them in defensive positions. So, we've certainly addressed the problem and looked at it, and we've done a lot of work on the training pitch as well during the course of the season. I think it's too easy just to look at the back four and maybe goalkeeper themselves. It's the whole team that defend as a unit, and we need to be defensively strong 1 to 11 when we haven't got the ball. And like I say, flip side of that is when we're attacking, when we're in possession, everyone needs to play their part in that as well. So it's an all-round game that we need to improve on, and we're working at.
And creating those chances, again, hasn't really been an issue. There have been lots of periods in games that we've watched where there are lots of chances created. It's just those conversion rates.
It is, and it's the timing of it as well. I think, when we're up in games, especially recent games at the Cottage here, when we're up in games, we need to make it count and get the goals that our performance at that stage deserves. And then there'll be very different outcomes. But, it's easy standing here saying it in the glorious sunshine, but, that's what we need to do. We know we need to improve. Sometimes there's a transitional period or a stage you need to go through, and while you're going through it, it's annoying and it's frustrating for everyone. No one more so than me, trust me. But we're working on it certainly, and we're addressing it. And like I say, a lot of what we're doing and performance on the pitch have been very, very good. But ultimately, it's a results business, and we need to get the performance and then get the result we deserve from that.
There are a few players missing on Tuesday evening, injuries and suspensions. Can you tell us what the squad's looking like for tomorrow night?
It's looking okay. We've got a lot of people sort of back close to being fit. A few will be touch and go for tomorrow. A few carrying slight knocks from the other day. But overall we're looking okay. So I'm reasonably pleased with the condition of the players are in. We've recovered as well as possible from Tuesday night's game. And Danny Guthrie's one who will definitely be missing, unfortunately. He's come in and made a decent impression for us, but he'll be out. Other than that, we've got a few who are touch and go, so we're still waiting on.
And in terms of young Pat Roberts, you were asked a question about him in the press conference because there's been speculation around his future. He hasn't been on the bench or part of your squad. Can you tell me, one, the thought process behind that, and two, what you think about Pat's future at Fulham?
Yeah, I mean, firstly, on the first question, it's we're in a bit of a scrap, bit of a dogfight, and it's very, very tough league, the Championship. It's very physical, and my job is to help develop the young players, but also to protect them. Pat's a fantastic talent, really exciting talent, and one who I think's got an enormous future for this football club, you know. And there's no surprise or shock that he's linked with top clubs, because he's a top talent, you know. He goes away with his England age group and he does really well for them. So he's one of the brightest prospects in the country, and he's our player, and we're very pleased with him and very proud of him. And like I say, I think he's at a great football club to help him develop and to move on.
And even being able to score goals at England at that level, it's still not the difference and the gulf in physicality for a start in the Championship is so wide that it's still not an easy transition to make.
Oh no, absolutely. I mean, it's huge. I mean, like I say, ability-wise, he's good enough, but it's the ability and the physicality need to go together. Like I say, and he's a young boy. He's developing, as you would expect. He'll get better as a player, and he'll develop physically. And you know, he's working at his game, and he's working hard in training. He's always part of our squad, and you know, he's a joy to work with, and he's very hungry. He wants to play every game, as you would expect. You'd be worried if he didn't, but also I think he's realistic about the situation and the predicament the club's in at the moment.
And in terms of that contract negotiation, that's something that you're working on currently?
Yeah, definitely. We'd like him to be tied to this football club for a long time to come.